Alright, welcome to my little speed paint. This is an illustration I made for the Bethlehem campaign. It's a Blue Deers comic, really awesome. Check it out, free to read online. And, one of the stretch goals was that I would do an illustration in my style for it. And so I started the way I always do, blue line sketches, which is, I don't know, I just like that because it lets you sort of get the sketchiness of it. And it's non-photo blue, so it doesn't show up on scans quite as much. And then I moved on from that to just traditional pencil sketching, which you saw earlier in here. I actually just took some progress photos of me drawing on pieces of paper. And once it's all drawn up, you scan it in, and here we get the colors done digitally. And I'm really getting into the cell shading and just kind of starting with some basic color techniques, which is sort of what I tend to do. I'll build in a lot of times just simple, straightforward cell shading, just like you'll see in an animation. And then once I get that, that sort of establishes the basic direction of the lighting and everything else, and I can layer more effects on top of that as we go. And a lot of the lighting in this scene, it's going to be coming from that rune circle right below Zoanna and the rest of the gang. Because, obviously magic, special effects, we want some cool underneath lighting there. So you can see that's sort of where I'm putting the shadow along the top edges of the characters in most of the cases. And, oh yeah, look, Catherine's getting some action in the hair, and there we go. And now I start to put just little detail shadows on that platform below them. There's a paper texture that I use a lot of the times, and this one, I literally would bake the paper in a stove, or usually I'd put it over top and pulled it over the burners as well to get some of the heat there. And I have that cool radial pattern on this one piece of paper that I want to use it in this part. And I just got that from folding the paper over a bunch of times, so there's a bunch of wrinkles leading to the inside, center of that piece of paper. And then you toast it, and all of those wrinkles kind of get just accentuated through the process of baking it in the oven. And so I just thought that would be kind of like a cool base texture for that circle, that stone circle that they're standing on top of here. And then from there, you just start to get more and more advanced lighting, put sort of like a nice night tone on everything. And black, usually it's not the best to use black as a shadow, so purple with a multiply on the layer effect is what I use a lot. So some nice purple shadows, and of course a radial effect to get the glow shooting up from those archaic runes on the surface of the ground there. And then after we get all of the shadows, everything's super dark. At that point, I start to add more special effects, fire, glows, highlight layers, and especially I'm getting some warm highlights coming up from below because, there's fire and glowing stuff on a warm glow. But I'm also going to shoot in a moment here, a nice cold rim light from the background because I thought I wanted to have a little bit more than just, a lot of heat intensity feel to the scene. I wanted to get some balance. So just mixing it up with some warm and cool, that always sort of gives you the push and pull that you want in an image. Well, I mean, not always. Sometimes you just want to be total heat, total intensity, total cold. But a lot of times, especially for a standalone illustration like this, I kind of want to have some light and dark, and in the same vein with the hue of the color, some cool and some warm. So that's where I brought the rim light in, and here you see the whole thing kind of comes together. So this is going to be going out to the Indiegogo backers from Bethlehem. Thank you for helping make the books a reality. I'm really excited for this.